Land, Water and Ocean Management by Cosmin Luca and Lucas Teng. Increasing ocean temperatures and ocean acidification due to global warming and pollution, coming mainly from industrial runoff and overfishing, are damaging the ocean to significant extents. There is a massive amount of phytoplankton die-off due to these issues. Phytoplankton are not only the base of the food web of the entire ocean, if they die, the ocean dies, but are also as important as trees in sucking up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere using photosynthesis. In other words, if they die, we die. Increasing salinity and topsoil degradation occurs due to excessive use of fertilizers, insecticides, chemicals, industrial and agricultural runoff, and general overfarming of land to the point where all the nutrients, except for salt, have been sucked out of the ground. Needless to say, increasing salinity and soil degradation leads to poor soil, meaning we can no longer grow food there. Australia in particular has a serious soil salinization problem, with over 70% of New South Wales being classified at a medium to low risk of reaching unfarmable levels of salt in the soil. Victoria, Western Australia, and South Australia have an even larger problem though, with the majority of their grazing land and farming land being placed under high risk of unfarmable levels of salinity. We might want to start planting mangrove trees if we want to plant anything at all within the next few years. Water catchment areas and the quality of sources in water in the land, of course, are directly tied to soil quality and salinity. You're not going to be willing to drink water that's been contaminated with runoff from a farm, unless you're this absolute mad lad. The other thing that obviously affects catchment areas of every kind in Australia is rainfall. I'm sure some of us remember the Millennium Drought. I don't, but the only thing that's worse for water catchments than being contaminated with chemicals that not even lobbyists are willing to drink.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So you're ready to drink one glass of
No,
glyphosate?
I'm not an idiot.
Is to have no water that can be contaminated in the first place. What causes droughts though? Is it God? Is it the weather controlling machine employed by Kim Jong-un? No! I'm sure you've all heard of the water cycle. Then you must know that when there simply isn't enough moisture in the air, for some crazy reason which varies from rogue winds to an El Nino year, no precipitation will occur over the desired area, your local catchment basin. Economically, crop yields are becoming less fruitful, leading to a shortage of agricultural resources and rising prices due to lowered supply of food. In a world where 13% of the population are undernourished, lack of land management and ocean management will only increase this statistic to harsher levels. Usually, of course, fish would be there as a staple food for the poor, but since the phytoplankton are dying out, they're likely not going to be that plentiful either. In regards to water management, if too much of our water becomes contaminated to an undrinkable level, or we suffer extreme droughts, drinking water may replace oil as the world's most important commodity. Socially, this leads to greater inequality and greater hardships for poor people. Undernourishment is not exclusive to the third world, of course. Food prices will go up, making it even harder to rise out of poverty. Food, a necessity, will no longer be able to be taken for granted if the situation persists. Environmentally, land, water, and ocean degradation will ultimately lead to the die-off of thousands of species and will degrade our atmosphere to the point of it being near uninhabitable. In the short term, landslides, low fishing yields, and a decrease in yield of crops will be the least of our problems. Global warming, animal extinction events, and severe decrease in human capacity on this planet will be the result of an increasing neglect of land management, water management, and of course ocean management. Now, believe it or not, individuals are not the offenders in this situation. As much as they may litter, the individual's contribution to this issue is minimal. The individual can take the time to vote for leaders which will enforce stricter environmental regulation. The individual may also raise awareness through social media and the good old-fashioned violent, or non-violent, whatever floats your boat, protest about environmental causes. Corporations and the industry, on the other hand, are the real offenders, which are degrading land and sea alike. The mineral, manufacturing, and energy industry are leaving their industrial waste to pollute the earth. The agricultural industry is using fertilizers that degrade the soil and water with the runoff off of their farms in return for a quick, large yield of crops. Foresters are deforesting hundreds of square kilometers of forest and jungle per year. Overfarming, industrial waste, and deforestation efforts are leading to a rapidly increasing problem of land degradation. Corporations, the industry, lobbyists, of course, don't exactly respond to this in a cooperative manner. Instead, they spread advertisements and propaganda about how they're actually quote-unquote benefiting the earth. Of course, they could always turn to a more renewable, efficient, responsible, and less wasteful manner of industry. But without government regulation, that's unlikely to happen. The government, at least in New South Wales, and largely on the federal level, aren't regulating the industries responsible for upkeeping our land, water, and ocean. Since the government only helps maintain soil, water, and ocean quality through studies by the BOM, the government must produce regulations for the industry, which is working against the purpose of maintaining a sustainable quality of land and water to successfully tackle the issue. This was 1,000 words long. Thank you for watching.